What's up, Chikers? Happy first day of the totally American TikTok ban. No other countries were involved in that ban. It's completely a decision made by America. Gonna be starting a new game here on Factorio. Can I use this mining machine for anything? I added a bunch of mods that I don't understand. Here it comes preloaded with coal. Alright. Is it really this slow? I think this is just me mining. Okay, how's this thing work? Okay, how did that get in there? So we had 5. Okay, I gained 1. That still has 5. What? Okay, now I have 6. Do I just park it here? Still 6. Okay, and it shuts off when I get out of it. Let's see. Mine solid resources such as coal, stone, ores, and harvest any trees in its path. Can consume wood to fuel itself. Mining speed 1. Okay, none of that tells me how to operate them. Do I just drive back and forth? Yep. Is it any movement? Can I just spin in a circle? Nope, gotta be moving forward. I don't think that's necessarily how these work. I don't think that's how these machines work at all. I think it could just sit and mine. But I've got to drive it in circles to get it to mine anything. Or unlock the vehicle programming. No, actually, I think that mod kept crashing. I don't think this is programmable in this playthrough. Let's just keep driving in the circle. Get some iron. Alright, which is probably okay, and I've got a ton of coal on me already. Which apparently some was already in there. Okay, so we'll use that. And then of course this is all different. So okay, there's stone furnaces. Can I just put some coal in them already? That's empty. Kinda might as well dig myself. Where do I have coal? Okay, north. Little mining bug. Okay, what is all this? It's gotta be from a mod. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the ground. Alright, we'll put that there. Do I have any boxes? No. Where did they move the boxes to? There. A little wooden box there for it to fill. Fuel that up some. That way it'll keep working. Some iron plates now. Because I'm going to need to start working. Okay, I've apparently researched steam power, which is good. Okay, I've got water here and I've got coal. So I can put power power generation up on that side, I think. Yeah, because then we can get coal over there that way. I'm hating the slow move speed. Not a fan of the slow move speed when you start out. It's probably completely avoidable with some mod that I have installed that I'm just unaware will deal with this for me. Okay. Where is the water pump? Oh, probably under liquid. That would make sense. Alright. Let's get that there. Oh, and we're gonna need a lot more iron. Oh, I do like that it shows me where it'll end. And it auto... Ooh, okay, that's cool. It's a nice little quality of life improvement. That way you're not sitting there trying to figure out, okay, what did I miss here? Alright. Make 2 of those for now. Do I want to extend that out more? Yeah, because I want the coal to be on that side. Extend this out 1 more. That way we've got enough room to have coal on the north side. And then the actual generators down there, which I need way more iron for. So I should probably be focusing on making more burner miner drills, which I need more iron for. So I think I might be driving around in circles in my little mining machine for a little bit. Oh wait, no. Nope, I can make some of these. 2 there, and then 1 to get more coal. Make myself some more boxes. Boom, boom. How much coal do these have so far? Decent amount. Dump this all in one, because the difference in speed's not really going to make too much of a difference. Oh, I need a lot of iron. Let's drive this thing around in a circle for a little bit. Half in there. That one's still not enough to make 1 steam engine. Which is probably fine since I can't really make anything that runs on electricity yet anyway. It's kind of pointless. I should probably be working on transport belts. So I need transport belts because I'm going to need to unlock electronics. To do that I need to craft copper plates because I need electric mining drill. Oh yeah, and I have some sort of colony mod installed too, which I'm also going to have to figure out. Alright, so I guess what I need to do with all this iron is more mining capacity. Put that there. A little wooden box to dump into. Because we're gonna need a lot of copper plates too. Once we get electricity going, this is gonna be a lot less of a hassle. Let's fill these to maximum. those run out, that's going to cause a lot of problems. Half a stack in there, half what's left in there, and then the rest in that one. Weird thing is it's showing me evolution rate of, what are all these? Planner, to-do list, economy. The good news is the market equilibrium is stable. The market. Just a man digging rocks out of the ground and melting them. Which it turns out, if your entire economy is based on one guy digging rocks out of the ground and then melting them, probably a pretty stable economy. Not a whole lot going on. Nothing really unexpected happening. Alright. Let's see. Do 3 of those. Let's use the rest on that. So we're about to move into phase 2 of mining, which is where I just have all of these dump into one box. Put those in there. That. Go up to here. Clear those because that's not what needs to be there. Where, okay, burner oh, okay, I can start using regular ones. But I'm gonna use, well, I could get electricity set up, kind of skip a step. That might be my best bet here. Take a tiny bit longer to get there, but then have less to worry about refueling. Being followed by a robot. And this isn't going to reach anywhere near where I need it to go. I'm going to need like 100 of those. So I need to get the coal from all the way over here to there. That's what's going to take a little bit longer. Okay, so for right now, let's make one of these. Okay, that one's apparently being fueled. Okay, I think it's just auto taking fuel from my inventory. I think that's what this mod does. So if I have the resources in my inventory, and it makes sense for the item I'm building to get those resources, it'll just give them the resources. Not completely against that, that's actually good. More of those. Stone too. This forest over here is also going to be in the way. At least part of it will be. Wait for the robots to gather up all the trees. Okay, we're starting to get somewhere. Still so far away. Oh, we're halfway there. So we could just massively increase output. That was speed. Well, because then I'd have to build a ton more furnaces and fuel those. I think I want to get things kind of self-running before I do that. Just need to get to the point where I can start building a colony for whatever this is about. Figure out what this is about. Gather up some coins, and then send them to a completely different Factorio player to not help any of the people in my colony. Doing a U.S. government playthrough. I'm going to tax the ever-loving hell out of the people who live in my colony, and then I'm gonna give most of that away. And then I'm going to chastise any of my own colonists who think that's a bad move. I'm going to call them racist. I'm going to call them homophobes. I'm going to call them all these things. So, like, I got to be careful because I don't know who my audience is here. Depending on the age group of my audience, some countries are okay to give money away to. Some aren't, though. You know, if my stream audience is tending like younger today, well then we're gonna not give my people's tax money to anyone who's like borderline Middle East, but we're going to give it to Eastern Europe. However, if the audience is skewing older, we're going to give all that money to the borderline pseudo Middle Eastern one, and none of it to the Eastern European one. And the real challenge there is going to be pretending we have any sort of ideological consistency whatsoever. We're going full schizophrenic American foreign policy. Where like sometimes it's okay to give all your people's money away, but only in some people's minds and only to their specific pet projects. You know, like boomers are fine with giving the country's money away if it's going to people who wear silly hats. Okay? Millennials, though, they're only fine with giving your country's money away if it's to pretend you're hurting someone who speaks a language nearly identical to the people you're pretending to help. In reality, you know, the money you're giving, it's not really helping those people. It's actually enabling their corrupt government to kidnap them on the street and conscript them into military service. But, oh, we don't want to look at the facts of the situation. That's not happening. The stand-up comedian would never do that to his people. Especially if, like, for example, ethnically he had very little in common with his own people. He was perhaps, like, from a completely different group of people. Who sees those people as, like, vermin and cattle. Then he's got no problem. Just go fight. Go here's some 30-year outdated weapons. Go fight some guys who look almost identical to you. They're your real enemy. They're the real enemy. foreigner occupying a government audience or a government office would never do anything like that. That'd be wild if something like that was happening. That'd be crazy. It'd be crazy to get a leader who's like completely different racial stock than the people that he's like supposedly representing. And like all he really wants to do is just send those people into a meat grinder. Wouldn't that be wild? Wouldn't it be crazy funding something like that? That would be nuts. That'd be a crazy thing to do. And then, like, if there was any hint of, like, a peace agreement, I think foreign countries should step in and just poison that immediately. Because, like, if the conflict doesn't continue, how will your weapons manufacturers keep posting record profits? Bet you didn't think about that. If people don't keep dying needlessly, how will Lockheed Martin make money? Did you guys not think about Lockheed Martin? They need money. They need your money. And if you don't give them your money, maybe you're a bad person. Maybe if you don't want all your money going to Lockheed Martin, maybe you're bad. Maybe you're a bad guy. What a weird time for my stream to lag. See, that is strange. There's like AI detecting words and pretending there's connectivity issues if you say words that are wrong or hold opinions that aren't profitable. What if your opinions were negatively affecting someone's 401k? You know, did you ever think of that? What if you've got bad opinions that if more people were to share them, it would be bad for someone's 401k? Regardless of if your opinions were like truthful, based in fact, any of that, but like people having those opinions, ooh, that could cause the number on the stock market to go down. Even if it's bringing everything in line with reality, like the stock market's not based on reality. It's based on feelings. Uh-oh, YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. That's crazy. I've had no internet problems for like a month. Now I am having them. That's weird. That's weird. I wonder if my opinions were like potentially threatening to someone's 401k. That would be, I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to have those opinions. I'd rather live in a fantasy world than a lie. That way some shareholders could have some extra money in their pockets. I don't know if any of this is getting through at this point, but my point being the stock market's not based on reality. If it was, a bunch of us wouldn't have made money on GameStop stock a couple years back. Because that was 100% based on feelings. I mean, granted, there were giant investment companies doing a lot of financial wizardry to keep the price of that stock artificially low and short selling massive amounts of it, because what these companies will do is they'll massively short a stock. And to the rest of the market, it looks like, ooh, someone might know something I don't. This company might be in trouble. I shouldn't invest money in that company. And by doing that, you can smash a company, otherwise profitable functioning company. You can destroy it. You can destroy it through financial wizardry, and then you and your vulture friends can pick over the corpse for what little bits you think you can resell here and there. Mitt Romney with Bain Capital, that was actually kind of their thing. They would take otherwise functioning American companies and they would buy them out, and then they would purposely bankrupt them, and they would sell off all the assets to make themselves rich. That's what Bain Capital did with Mittens Romney. His real name's Mittens. He's actually from Michigan, where I'm from. What he used to do when he was younger, because his dad was like a state trooper or something, he would borrow his dad's state trooper car and a police uniform, and he would go pull over girls that he thought were cute to flirt with them. And if you or I did that, we'd go to jail forever. But not Mittens. He didn't get in any trouble for it. His dad told him, please stop doing that, son. That's wildly inappropriate. Whereas if it were you or I doing it, a police officer would tell us, you're never doing this again because you're going to jail because that's a felony. That's felony impersonating an officer. You can't pretend to be a cop and just pull girls over because you think they're cute. It didn't really work out in the end for him. Most of those girls thought he was a giant weirdo, because he is. He is a giant weirdo. He wears magic underwear. He's a freak. That man ran for president and then was confused why he didn't win. After going on TV and going, I love women, I have binders full of women, and trying to leave his dog on the roof of the car as he drove off. It's an alien. It's an alien pretending to be a human. Get rid of it. Send it somewhere else. I don't want that around me. Gross. Gross freak. That'd be a really nice way to describe Mitt Romney. A gross freak. There's other ways to describe him, but you can't use those on YouTube. You can't. YouTube does not... They're not really on board with accurately describing certain people. And generally the criteria is the person rich and powerful? Could they potentially call in some favors to YouTube's advertisers? Oh, they can? Can't criticize that person. But we got to get rid of TikTok because it's a threat to free speech and national security. The threat to free speech comes in when people are sharing, accurate information about ongoing conflicts in the world. And one of the countries involved in one of those conflicts is the biggest propaganda parasite on the planet. You can't have that. If the American taxpayers were getting, accurate information about things that were going on, we might take issue with where some of our money's going. We might want that money to no longer go to those places, to the tune of $8 billion plus per year for the last, 30 years? My entire lifetime, at least. That's why I'm really happy to have, a third of my paycheck just taken by the government. Just give it to people who hate me. Hell yeah, that's the American way. Rob your citizens, give their money to people who hate them, and then rebrand that as freedom. Call that freedom. You are free to pay taxes from the moment you die, or the moment you start working, you turn 18, you get a job, you got to pay taxes for all these wonderful government services we receive. Like property taxes, Without paying property taxes, who would pay the police to make excuses to avoid addressing issues that fall under their jurisdiction? They'd have to self-fund their excuses. Garbage pickup, I'm paying for that. That I don't really have a problem with. For some reason, the garbage truck, they come every week, they pick up my garbage, they leave. No problems there. And then the school system, that's the bulk of my property taxes, is the local schools, who went into an ungodly amount of debt before I ever moved to this city. And I've seen the students that they produce out of these schools, and my money is clearly not being used wisely, because most of these kids are idiots. It's not the kids' fault. If you don't teach a kid anything, is it really their fault that they don't know anything? Not really. I don't think it's really their fault. I think it's probably the fault of the people whose responsibility it was to teach them and train them up into a productive adult. But we don't do that here, okay? That could offend someone. What we really need to do is we need to shut down all the gifted programs, because, if someone else's kid gets into a gifted program and yours doesn't, because either, your genetics weren't up to producing a smart kid, or you were a lazy parent who didn't work with your child to make sure that they were, interested in learning, interested in growing into a productive, useful human being, that might make you feel bad. It might make you feel like you failed as a parent. And we can't have, people having negative feelings ever for any reason whatsoever, especially if it's their own fault. So we got to get rid of those gifted programs, which I wouldn't have a problem with my property taxes going to something like that. But instead it goes to buying these kids a new Chromebook every year because they can't stop chewing on the damn things. It's a good use of my tax money, though. I mean, how much? Okay, so they get Chromebooks for $100, so I'm buying 40 Chromebooks a year. just in the property taxes that are going to the schools, assuming they're paying a full 100 for them. I think they're probably getting a better deal than that. So who knows? I could be paying for upwards of 80 Chromebooks per year for the children to chew on and destroy, with no tangible like benefit to their education. The Chromebooks, they're not making the kids smarter. They're not using these to teach kids how to do proper research. They're not teaching them how to use this Chromebook as like a tool to better their education. They're mostly using it as a way for the teachers to go, oh, it's snowy. Well, snow days aren't a thing anymore, so you're going to do class from home today. That's what you're going to do. You're going to do your class from home, where you'll learn nothing. Don't go out and play in the snow with your friends. That clearly would not be beneficial to a child's development. When I was a kid and we'd have a snow day, me and my friends would go build a snow fort, which like requires working together as a team, coming up with a plan for what your fort's going to look like, dividing up responsibilities of who's going to do what as far as getting that fort built. That's not a useful skill for a kid to have. What they need to learn is that men can give birth. And you should call them birthing persons. That's what they need. That's what I need my money going towards. And people with small hats. That's what I want most of my money to go towards, is people with small hats. The smaller the hat, the better. You don't want God to see your bald spot. I got to get me one of them hats, because I got a bald spot. All right? That hat would cover it perfectly. And I suspect it would get me other unexpected benefits in my daily life. Particularly in certain areas of life. I don't think I'd wear it if I had to drive through Dearborn. If you look up Dearborn, Michigan, I don't think I'd wear that hat going through Dearborn. But, if I have to, go to my accountant to get my taxes done, or, go to the bank for something, I think it could help me there. I don't know. I think it's like a stat buff. Like a small hat, especially when paired with a large beard. Gets you, better interest rates or something, I think. It's in the patch notes. You guys really got to read the patch notes. It's a lot of good information in there, really. I know it can get you out of crimes. There was there's this giant thing in New York a while back. It hasn't been on the news lately, but it's still going on. They just don't put it on the news anymore. But a bunch of babies were getting STDs for some reason. And they traced it back to certain rituals. But, you can't have them stop doing those rituals just because babies are dying from it. It's a sacred ritual. And it's necessary. How else would you stop the bleeding after a circumcision, if not, using a rabbi's mouth? It's called mitzvah b'peh. MITSVAHB apostrophe PAH, I think is how it's spelled. Google that. And then, I'm trying to up my viewership. I'm trying to get the ADL in here to tell me that, that's only one small sect, and they don't do it anymore. Okay, I believe you. I believe you. You have a track record of honesty, and you've got an honest face. Anytime I speak to a talking rat, I believe them. That's how Mickey Mouse got popular. People thought he was a rat, and they were like, I can trust this guy. This guy got me a home loan. I trust him. I'm going to believe everything he says. Wait, why is he driving a steamboat? Man, this guy can really do it all, can he? I don't think I should lean full on into schizophrenia. I think it would make me more passionate and animated. I mean, to be fair, a lot of the people that have said crazy things over the years, that people are like, oh, they're just crazy. You know, you look into the things they're saying, it turns out they're not crazy. Turns out they're telling the truth. The truth just sounds insane sometimes. So I usually, if I'm going to say things that sound crazy publicly, I'll also give you guys the Google search terms you should be looking up along with them. You know, some corroborating evidence to the insane sounding things that I'm saying. That when you go look at the evidence, you can go, oh my God, that wasn't a joke. They're actually doing that. Yeah. Uh-oh. That's one of those opinions that could really negatively affect someone's 401k, though, so don't have those opinions. They're bad. They're bad opinions. Someone's 401k could suffer. Don't think those thoughts. Don't think those thoughts. It's costing BlackRock money. Have better thoughts. Would not want to threaten a giant multinational company's bottom line by having the wrong opinions. I'd rather live a lie. Personally. You can do what you want. I'd rather live in a complete lie in a fantasy world and be confused and angry about everything going on around me at all times, but have absolutely no clue why it's happening and even less of an idea of how to go about fixing it. I think what I'd start with doing is just blaming stupid things. I would blame stupid things. I'd get caught up in dumb little infighting. Like, oh, what bathroom should transgenders use? I can't afford groceries this week, but, you know? Get focused on that. Focus on that instead. That argument is threatening no one's bottom line. You can think about that all you want, have whatever opinions you want. You can even have those opinions on Facebook now. And it's fine. Because those opinions, they're not threatening anyone's money. So have those opinions all you want. Knock yourself out. Go wild with it. Just come up with your own. Maybe you think people from Papua New Guinea are actually the reason why the economy's bad. Who knows? It could be. Could be those people in Papua New Guinea wearing grass skirts. They might be the reason that eggs tripled in cost. And it would have nothing to do with the U.S. government culling chickens left and right, claiming there's some extremely virulent outbreak of avian flu. It could be both. Maybe the Papua New Guineans are actually birds and they brought the avian flu in their avian cells. And then they went and coughed on a chicken. And now eggs gotta cost $6 for a dozen. You gotta pay 50 cents per egg. You know? You gotta do it. That could be what's happening. You never know. Does it sound crazy? Yeah. Is it? Uh-huh. It is. It's crazy. But the most important thing, it can be crazy. It just can't threaten a multinational company's bottom line. 1 billion people could think Papua New Guineans are the ones that are the fault. It's their fault that eggs cost so much. BlackRock ain't losing money over that. Tyson Foods ain't losing money over that. I mean, how many Papua New Guineans are in America? I don't think even that many individuals would be affected by this because they don't live here. So that's an example of an okay opinion to have. Now, if you look into the history of banking, or, you know, something like that, that could lead you to some opinions that, don't have those. Don't look into what the Bible says about usury, and then follow that by looking into how the Federal Reserve functions and the U.S. economy functions. Don't look into that. I'll give you just a little quick, easy run through. So the Federal Reserve is a private bank, and okay, connection issue. So they're a private bank that the U.S. federal government borrows our money from at interest. I'll just let that statement sit for a second. And one good way, like an angle to think about that from, if borrowing from the Federal Reserve is what creates the money supply, and we're borrowing at interest, how could the national debt ever possibly be paid off? If you start from zero and you borrow $1,000, $1,000 from this bank, and that $1,000 is the entirety of the U.S. economy at the time, but they're charging interest. So when that loan's fully paid off, you're paying back $1,200, let's say. But all the money in existence is $1,000, but you owe $1,200. Where's that extra $200 come from? You got to come up with that $200 somewhere, because when the money's paid back in, it's no longer in circulation. So you've borrowed $1,000. $1,000 is all that exists. You owe $1,200 back. So even if you collect that $1,000, there's still an outstanding debt of $200. So now you got to borrow more money from them to pay down the debt from the previous round of borrowing that you did. But that new money you're borrowing at interest. So now you're back to $0 in circulation, but you still owe $200. So okay, I'll borrow $5,000 this time. Well, based on that 20%, you now owe back $6,000. But there's only $5,000. Do you see where I'm going with this? Do you see how this system isn't really meant to work? You're meant to pay into it forever. It's not meant to be a sound financial system by any stretch of the imagination, because some moron on YouTube can do a quick walkthrough of how it functions, and anyone watching can go, wait, that could never be paid back. You're right. You're right, it can't. It's not meant to be. You're just meant to be perpetually in debt forever. You can't pay it off, because the money to pay it off doesn't exist. It has to be borrowed into existence to pay off the debt, which has been borrowed into existence at interest. But the interest was created out of thin air. It's almost like that was included in the Bible, not as necessarily financial advice, but or like moral advice or anything like that. It's almost like it was a guideline of if you let something like this happen, someone else owns your country. It's almost like it was a warning of that. And everyone took it to mean charging interest is immoral. It's far more than immoral. It's destructive on an international level, is what it is. There's nothing to do with morality and everything to do with, like, how reality works. You can't borrow money into existence and then at interest and then pay it off using the money that you borrowed at interest. Unless you're the bank itself. They seem to be able to do whatever they want. Every now and then, like, there'll be like regulations introduced, and a lot of the time those regulations are written by the banks themselves, and they end up being more destructive than whatever was going on in the first place that caused people to think the regulation needed to exist. Like when that whole crisis with car loans happened, because the Obama administration decided, well, credit scores are racist. We can't base people's ability to pay off a loan on a credit score, because that will negatively affect certain groups of people. And what followed was people who were unable to pay back loans, taking out massive loans for cars that the lenders themselves knew there's zero chance of this person paying this back. They don't have the money to pay this back. They don't have the provable income, and they also don't have a history of paying their loans back. So there was a giant wave of repos, and then the American auto industry needed a bailout from the federal government, which was the intention the entire time. It was a wealth transfer. Oh, you got. Uh-oh. Oh, sorry, buddy, we transferred your wealth. Oops. We totally didn't mean for that to be the outcome of this situation. But don't worry. You don't have to pay it back personally. The government will pay for it. So you're just borrowing that money from your kids and grandkids. But hey, You're not personally responsible anymore. All right? If those kids were smart, they would have been born before you did all the looting. But they were dumb and they were lazy and they were born after you, and you were able to do all your looting before they were born. Whose fault is that? That's not your fault. That's their fault. Kind of like the argument for student loans. But no one wants to look at that side of the argument. One side wants their loans paid for and can't articulate why there is a legitimate argument for that, both in terms of the economy cannot sustain the level of debt that we currently have dumped on one generation. But that's not even the entire point. The entire point is those people were all conned. They were conned by the government. Like, you go through 12 years of public school, and the entire time they're telling you need to go to college, you need to go to college, you need to go to college. So is it a wonder that an entire generation all decided they needed to go to college? I don't think they all got together and they were like, you know what we should do? We should go get useless degrees. That's what we should do. I know when I was in high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do or what I should go to college for. And the counselors at my high school told me, just get a degree in anything. All you need is a bachelor's degree in anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Just companies are looking for people with bachelor's degrees to hire. Is it a surprise we had a bunch of kids get useless degrees after they went through 12 years of that? Is that shocking? Is that really a system that the government should be making money on interest from? That seems kind of immoral. It seems kind of immoral for a bunch of adults to be telling a bunch of children for over a decade straight, you need to go to college no matter what. Even if you can't afford it, you need to take out loans to go, because that's the only way you're going to get a job. And then all these kids, they grew up and they became adults and they did what they were told. They went to college. And a lot of times they were told it doesn't matter what degree you get. So they got useless degrees. They got degrees in things they were interested in, maybe, that weren't necessarily the most profitable. And they didn't have good leadership. They didn't have good leadership at home. They didn't have good leadership in their daily lives to tell them that this isn't going to pay off how you think it is. That's not how the world works. No, they just had constant messaging from the government and from everyone else that, you need to go to college. No matter what, you got to go to college. So they all went to college and they got the degrees that they were told they needed to have to get a job. And then they found out that degree doesn't actually make them any more likely to get a job than not having it. The only difference is now they're $60,000 to $100,000 in debt and they've got a piece of paper that says, I got fooled. But we can't bail them out. No, that would be wrong. All of the people that decided they were going to flip houses or buy a second house as a rental right around the same time as I was graduating high school that got upside down in a loan. They were able to just declare bankruptcy to get out of that. You can't declare bankruptcy to get out of a student loan. So they had an out. Maybe their credit took a hit. They lost the investment. But, could have been worse. Could have been worse. They could have been forced to pay off that loan no matter what. That was fine that we gave trillions of dollars to banks in that situation. The bank bailout, that was totally fine. The banks letting people just invest like lunatics in houses where they had no experience flipping houses and no idea what any of that entailed, and they lost a bunch of money on it. Technically, we didn't bail those people out. Those people did, however, get to throw their hands up and go, oop, I'm out, and walk away, without paying off the rest of the loan. The banks who then pretended that they suffered a loss, which I'm still trying to work out how a homeowner buys a house from you, gets a mortgage that they're paying on, then they can't pay on it anymore. So they declare bankruptcy, and now you have all the money that they paid you for that house, and you have the house back, but you also need a multi-trillion-dollar bailout. Okay, yeah, totally. That makes sense. Yeah, I get it. That makes sense. So we give trillions of dollars to the banks for that, because, if we hadn't, even though it was kind of the bank's fault that it happened, if we didn't bail them out, it would have had far-reaching economic consequences. Student loans, though, the fact that there's an entire generation out there that can't afford to buy houses, that couldn't possibly have far-reaching consequences, could it? No. No. Because all those people that, decided they were going to play house hunters or whatever, watching HGTV thinking, oh, I could flip a house, they were taken advantage of. They were lied to. All those students who were told for years and years, go to college, go to college, go to college. No, that was their own decision. What's up, Carl? I'm ranting. Pick a topic, Carl. No, actually, Carl, you don't get to pick a topic. You'll pick something bad. You'll pick something that'll get me in trouble. Women's rights. Oh, that's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. What aspect of women's rights are we going to look at? The fact that the government doesn't actually care about women's rights and they just wanted to double the labor pool so they could double the tax base, and then all of those children who normally would have been at home with their mother now had to go into the public school system so the government could train them. Usually go to college, take out loans. Yeah, it's kind of like a big circular thing, isn't it? Breakdown, I'm always having fun. I'm having all kinds of fun. Not to mention, I mean, there's kind of an aside there where it's like, is it really a right if someone can take it away from you? If something was given to you, is it a right? I'm not saying I'm against women's rights, but the idea that women fought for them, women marched. Most women at the time did not want the rights they were given. The compromise that had to be made to get enough of them on board to vote in favor of it was that, okay, you can vote, but you don't have to sign up for the draft. But if something wasn't taken using blood, sweat, and tears, and you don't have the ability to prevent it from being taken away from you, is it a right? That's an honest question. If something can be taken from you that was because it was given to you, and you do not have the ability to defend your ownership of it, is it actually a right, and do you really have it? Something to think about. Again, I'm not against it. In theory, how it's working out, there's a few things in there that really have not worked out in any of our favor, women included. Just interesting things to think about on a Sunday morning. Welcome to church. Welcome to hell, guys. Welcome to hell. Nope. UPS and USPS do, so we can't ship any orders. But yeah, I get to get screamed at by old people on the phone for most of the day tomorrow. I had a guy last week, so his insurance plan switched from our pharmacy to a different mail order, and he went off on a tirade about how no one had his consent to transfer his prescription. And I had to explain to this man that your prescription doesn't belong to you. That was the main crux of his argument, is he thought his prescription, he thought it was his property. No, the doctor wrote a prescription. Okay. That prescription right there, that's that doctor's property. The doctor then sent that prescription electronically to the pharmacy I work at. The prescription itself is now our property. When we fill that prescription, we put a bunch of pills in a bottle and we mail it to the patient. The pills and that bottle are the patient's property. The prescription, mysteriously, or not so mysteriously, the prescription never belonged to that man. His property was never transferred anywhere. I'm getting a lot of that lately. A lot of that old people who seem to think that they own things that they don't. Main point being, your prescriptions don't belong to you. They belong to the pharmacy that currently has possession of the prescription. Because at some point along the line of events, probably a doctor, decided that prescription belonged to that pharmacy. See, it's also the reason why if you're filling something at a pharmacy, you're not a customer, you're a patient. You are receiving some level of medical care or services. You're not buying a car. You're not having some rugs cleaned. You're receiving a prescription. Which means, I don't care what you want. I don't care how you think this should work. All of that's irrelevant. You're not a customer. You're a patient. Just like you don't get to go, you don't go to the ER and then complain, oh, this bed wasn't very comfortable. Yes, you're receiving emergency medical care. Turns out your comfort was not the top priority here. The top priority was keeping you from dying. That's not what I meant to put in there. Black Man's Day. Dealing with you long enough, Carl, that did not even strike me as an odd statement. What to dump here? That's gonna have to go. Yeah, that would go there. Who do you guys have winning the Super Bowl, Israel or Hamas? I don't really care. I just hope both teams have fun. Granted, I kind of think Ham-ass is a silly name for a football team. But what do I know? I'm just some guy playing pretend Factory on YouTube. I'm just crazy. Just crazy, and I don't know anything about a bunch of Babylonians hijacking a religion. And if you know anything about it, you're crazy too. Or if you don't know anything about it. Nah. What do you think about that, Dale? Okay. Science is next. Time to do science. Where do they hide the science in this menu now? You'd think it'd be in the little science area. Is this something I have to... No, I have to build a lab before I could... There's the lab. Yep. Mining and processing lab. Alright, I guess I don't need 5 of those right away. That's going to take a while. Especially because I have to make all of this by hand to start. Alright. Definitely need automation. That's going to be a high priority there. Electric mining drill, that's another one. That eliminates the need for having to keep track of coal. That one's helpful too. Do I? Okay, I've clearly got... Yeah, there's a mod lowering the cost of these. That one definitely doesn't normally... Yeah, these don't normally take 2 science packs. Problem is, I don't know what mod that is, because I installed a bunch. So I'm apparently doing like an easy mode playthrough of some sort. Just call me Moshi. Call me Moshi, I'm going through on easy mode. My dad owns a bank, and our genetics are just like this. Oh, wait, I could blueprint all this now. Alright, let's line up the power lines. Put 3 more in there. And just build all the stuff. Okay, that is running. It's just taking a while. Alright, now I've got electric mining drills. I can get rid of all the crappy ones. Let's grab those right now. So what do you guys think about that TikTok ban that's totally not related to factual information coming out from Gaza? It's probably good. Probably good we banned it. Can't have people knowing things. That could get dangerous. Get really treacherous for our greatest ally, who blew up the USS Liberty in a great and ally-like way. I mean, to be fair, it was our fault. What was our boat doing there? Oh, it was documenting war crimes? Oh, sure. And I mean, how were they to know it was our ship? Just because it had the name of the ship and an American flag on it? Anyone could write that. Anyone could pretend to be a United States Navy ship. It's a really common prank, honestly. A lot of people pull that prank. A lot of people. The old 1960s U.S. Navy surveillance ship prank. My neighbor did that to me one time. Oh, nice. I get to work from home the next 2 days because it's going to be cold. Hell yeah. I'm a fan of that. Don't really care that it's cold. I just don't want to drive there. I've been given permission to let him place. I told her to steal credit for the decision. A lot of people really need to get better at marketing. Marketing is really, really important in your daily life, more than you realize. And I don't mean in terms of companies tricking you into buying things. I mean in terms of you convincing people that you're better than you really are. You should do that. A lot of people making a lot of money. That's what they're doing. They're lying and taking credit for things that they didn't really have a say in. So you should do it too. Don't steal credit from your coworkers for things. But if there's no way for anyone to track down whose idea it really was, it might as well be yours. Might as well be you having the really good ideas that everyone likes. Because that's what people will remember about you, is that you had a really good idea that they liked, that benefited them. It's not, but in a way, it's like some semi-related to like intellectual property theft, which nowadays I think is okay. I think you could just do that now. There doesn't seem to be, I need 6 of these. Doesn't seem to be really any punishment for, oh, I didn't get the inserters along with it. Oh, I do still have burner inserters, that's good. Pop those on there, and I need one more. I mean, look at Elon Musk. Technically, he didn't steal any intellectual property. He bought it. But then he goes out and claims it was all his idea. It wasn't. Elon Musk didn't make Tesla. Elon Musk purchased. What did I do here? I did a real big stupidity here is what I did. He didn't invent Tesla. It wasn't his idea. He made the company profitable. Say he deserves credit for that. I don't think Tesla would be as big as it is without him in somewhat of a position of leadership there. Definitely not without his money. But he goes around with no hint of irony, saying, when I created Tesla. You didn't. You didn't, though, Elon. You funded it. It's definitely a good thing overall. But it wasn't your idea. Granted, I still don't know if I even like their cars. I know I don't want one. Even their competitors. People say, "Oh, you could just, charge your car at home," and my garage is wired for that. I could do that. I'm a perfect candidate for an electric car. I own my home. I've got a garage I could park it in. The garage is already wired for electricity. I don't think it has 220. I'd have to get 220 run to it, but compared to what a lot of people would have to do to set up EV charging infrastructure in their own home, I've got a lot of the beginning steps ready. I still don't have an interest in an electric car. Because one thing I can do with a gas car that I can't do with an electric car, I can keep gas in a gas can. That way, if there's an emergency, I've got extra range on my car. Can't necessarily do that the same way with batteries. I mean, in theory, you could. It's going to be a lot more expensive, like astronomically more expensive, and the weight difference is going to be absurd. Like I could get enough gas cans, fill them, and fill the trunk of my car, and have an extra 1,000 miles of range in the trunk of my car and still have room for other things. Can you do that with a battery? maybe. I know there's a lot of really neat, like, battery pack generator combo kind of things out there that can store a lot of power, but they can only output so much power at once without catching on fire. So you can't really fill up the trunk of your Tesla with extra batteries to extend your range. Like, well, in theory you could. But it's not going to work the same way as gasoline. The energy density is, like, little too different there. Gasoline holds a lot more energy than a battery does. The electric car is just a lot more efficient at using that energy. But it turns out I didn't buy an all-wheel drive car with an engine that was developed in the 90s because I care too much about efficiency. Okay, my views seem to be doing better when I was ranting about politics. Do I need to go back to that? Does the algorithm like that? Despite all signs to the contrary? Is that what I should be going on about? How I need to figure out the colony mod here so I could tax these people and send all of their money overseas? And let's research all these things because they're cheap. Yeah, let's research lamp. I don't love lamp, but I'm not really against lamp either. I think lamp is just okay. Oh yeah, let's increase crafting speed, inventory. So, oh no, research queue is full. Let's make more of these. Wait, no, I can make assembling machine. Question is, how slow is the assembling machine? Let's give it another assembling machine to feed into it. Actually, to feed into a box and then into it. That way I can skim the extra iron gears off the top. Okay, iron gears are under the weird little science-looking heading. And I don't think that's going to make them quick enough to really make too much of a difference, and I can probably make them faster by hand. Let's get some iron plates. Let's test something out. Fast iron. Oh yeah, I make them a lot faster than the machine does. Alright, let's leave this running so I can do other things while it keeps working. Let's give that a box to put stuff into. We'll see what happens. So I could have it feed to a belt, which will then go up and feed these automatically. Yeah, that's probably the smarter thing to do. You get 3, you get 3. That way the extra will just build up on the belt once that crafting's... Oh yeah, because I haven't even increased my crafting speed yet. Okay, and I didn't have that graph before. Is that showing how much it's using? No, it's a science production. How long is this taking? 5.5 seconds. Okay, so it had to have been... Yeah, 'cause it should be like 9 per minute. So I think that was factoring in what I was crafting by hand. Let's see if this drops down to 9. Okay, it went back up. Still. Oh, I think the problem is it's averaging that over like 10 minutes, so it's just going to keep counting what I made. Just make these by hand. Skip ahead a little bit. Okay. Now, I should probably deal with this issue, since I have burner inserters feeding my power network. And those could shut off. Those could run out of fuel. Nope, not that close. There. Okay, and then why? Okay, didn't connect. But there, so it's out of the way. So these have got to be replaced too. Those gotta go. Those gotta go too. I don't think I have the inventory space. So let's load these all up with coal. Oh my god, I keep clicking on the same one. There we go. Let's load these up too. Dump the rest of this into my power network. Ooh, working from home means I can watch the inauguration tomorrow. And I have time to go to the gym in the morning. This is going to be a good week. It's going to be a really good week. Alright, what other science can I do? Just get all of this out of the way. Everything that I can do without using the logistics science packs, we're going to get out of the way, including the research for those science packs. electric poles that quick. Let's see how the throughput of this works. I don't think it's going to work well. Nope, that is actually okay. It's the pickup at the end that's not quick enough. Add another one. Alright, why does all this look like this? It's gotta be from the mod, but the question is why? Oh. Oh, this is a whole thing to learn. Okay, so I can build consumer implements. I can build a greenhouse. Sustain a population. Okay, but what is that item that's required within? Is this? Depot. Okay, stone bricks. So I need to get stone production and refining up and running. Can I do splitters yet? Oh, okay, I can. Alright. Okay, that'll go off. Split there. This coming up from here, that way that can go in there, that can go in there, and that will keep them separated on that. Yeah, and then that'll go there. Bring them down to a box down here. That there. Connect straight down. And to the left. Alright, so that should be running. What do I need? Oh, burner inserters. Oh, and then a splitter. There. That there. And that thing's out of fuel. Second one of those to collect all of it. More drills. This way. that's not helping anything. And neither is this continuing beyond where it can grab. Okay, we should be getting enough stone bricks now. Okay, that one might miss some every now and then, but the rest should be fine. Okay. Do that. And then 2 housing units. See what happens. That there. Housing unit, which apparently do not require electricity. Oh. Okay, so I need to be able to make stuff. They gotta make stuff. The consumer essentials, but we need agriculture. Okay, so that has to go to a greenhouse, which is this. How does the greenhouse work? Let's put it there. Let's see. Greenhouse. Okay, and we need agricultural products. Okay, so all these have to go near water. If we put these all down here. Water pump. Okay, so the greenhouse makes all 3 of these. Seems like I should have 1 of each. That one wood, that one agriculture, that one fish. Okay, they all have power. I guess I could have just put these all in a line since they'll pass water through to each other. But we're going to do it the stupid way. Okay. But that needs agricultural products to produce fish. That needs stone to produce food? Out of rocks? How much water does this need? Oh, 12,000. Okay. So, I should probably hook up more pumps. Is that... So hook them up right next to each other. Does that work better? Okay, it's got 13K, 10K, 12K. This makes no sense to me. It's a whole new aspect of the game. And then I've got all of these to choose from. Jail. What? Okay, I have to deal with criminals? Basic housing requires products. What the hell is products? Does that mean... If we do that... Need civilians and fuel. To make civilians Frontier housing also needs fuel. Oh wait, it's doing something. How much more frontier economy uses informal trailer? So if we just do regular basic housing? No, that needs coins. That uses coins to produce demand. Alright, so we'll go back to this frontier housing, because that was at least moving. Produces demand and unregulated supply. This makes no sense. Okay, that's just producing wood. Okay, agricultural products. Let's put half of that in there, because that can make fish. Let's see what happens when I put this in the depot. Agricultural products in the depot. That does nothing there. This is still doing whatever it's doing. Slowly counting to 100. More iron. Basically a totally different game. Just completely lacking any sort of tutorial. Another containerized housing unit. Assume that connects to this. Okay, it does. Just like people. For labor, I need a civilian. Which I thought this one might be making, but I don't think it is. Okay, no, that's not. Create laborers, I need 10 coin and 1 civilian. That also needs 2 civilians. This one needs 4 civilians. That one needs 4 civilians. But the frontier housing, none of these produce civilians. What else can I? Nope, that's the same menu. What if I just make 5 consumer implements? And put them in there. Actually, let me grab that, because that'll let me make consumer essentials. Which possibly also does something. Okay, that's at 50%. 50% of something. What, I'm not quite sure. Oh. I could just use that and then not have to deal with coal at all. Let's see, crafting speed 1. Oh, they're both the same crafting speed. It doesn't matter right now. Do want to figure this out. That doesn't even tell me what it uses. This one, wait. How did this one get 1 civilian? Where'd they come from? Because that's everything I left in there. It's not using any of that. Come back to that in a minute and see what it has. Probably something I could have read to know what the hell's going on, but I didn't do that. I didn't do any of that. Okay, so I guess all of these need a box to put stuff in. Just turning water into stuff. Well, this one needs rocks, though. That one turns rocks into stuff. And that one, agricultural products and water into fish. 2 hours in, I have no idea what's going on. It's like starting playing Factorio all over again. Being new to the game. Okay, 5% away from figuring out what the hell this building does. Maybe. Probably not. Probably won't know what it does after this. Send me on another mysterious wild goose chase. Okay, he's a private citizen. What does he do? No, he's moving again. What's this guy doing? What is he doing? Why does he look like me? I need to move away from him? Oh, okay. Oh. Alright. Okay, we got 2 in there now. And our consumer items are gone. Okay, so to make essentials, gotta collect from both of those to bring to the distribution center, which I'm gonna change to a retail service, because I feel like that would actually make money. And then this, well, this is a different screen. Change that to basic housing. But that requires coins to create demand. Let's get faster inserters doing this. Because that's just gonna... Well, that's also gonna need stone to keep doing that. So make an impossibly complicated production chain. Alright, so I need the fish. I need that. And the wood, whatever. Make these things. We'll dump them in the depot. So apparently, people don't just eat agricultural products. As long as there's demand. But this isn't creating demand. So maybe I need a frontier house as well to create demand. And maybe agricultural products don't need to be in there at all. Maybe that creates a person that'll live there, buy stuff there. I don't know. I don't know. This is overly complicated. I think I need to read a bunch about this mod. Wait. 250 coins in 4 days. Unreal. So I guess supply massively outpacing demand is good. But what's this thing do then? Or what is this doing? I don't know. I think I need to read. I think the answer is I need to read. Yeah, we're gonna call it on the stream now. Here's the outro. Hello. Ni hao for our Chinese overlords. Welcome to ChikeItUp, the fastest growing YouTube channel that I have. What do I do on this channel? A lot of gaming, a lot of streaming, sometimes comedy videos, and every now and then I destroy a printer. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm gonna get the serial numbers off of it. I'm gonna contact technical support, and we're gonna get this working again. Yeah. Oh shit! There's billions of dollars in here. Billions of dollars lost. Snap it right back into place. All these little gears. Yeah, I think I'll get it replaced under warranty. I think it's still good. I think it's still a usable printer.